Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of 4XPEDITION Unplugged. I'm Scott Luthold. Well, it's been quite a while since I put up a video. I think the last one I put up was an introduction to Rove Ultra Expedition. So as most of you know, I've now launched an Ultra Expedition company with my good friend Dan Cronin. We will be rolling out international expeditions around the world. Outside of Rove Ultra Expeditions, I haven't been doing much filming since last fall, and I wanted to give you all an update on what's going on with our lives and what some of the plans are for this year. Heather and I do plan on getting back up to the cabin, up to Songbird Cabin. We'll be working on the cabin again some more. We will be opening up Mantle Rock Mountain Camp this summer up at the cabin as well. One of the things, though, that I've been working very, very hard on is putting together basically a 32-hour course. And the reason I'm doing this is because over the years, people have asked me how I do what I do. People ask Heather and I all the time how it is we're able to live the kind of life that we live. And I've decided to put together a program, and I'm calling it Modern Self-Reliance. And this is a 32-hour course. It's basically 4 8-hour classes that basically give you a brain dump of everything that's in my head that I've learned over the last 32 years as a branding expert. I consider myself a marketing and branding expert. I ran my own brand agency for 16 years, and I used all of that knowledge and skill to create the 4XPEDITION brand online. And in the process, I leveraged what I call information assets, my personal information assets, to be able to create this brand online and set up multiple revenue streams that allow me to make a living from the things that I know. Back in, probably about 8 years ago, I was a guest speaker at Overland Expo. And at Expo, I walked people, I think I had maybe 80 people come to my talk at Overland Expo. And I walked those people through a 55-minute, basically, discussion on this same thing, how to leverage information assets online to make money. And at the time, I put out a talk there that was more centered on how I could help people basically create revenue streams for themselves so they could travel the world, overlanders. I have since decided that the knowledge and information that I have in my head that could be shared with all of you is something that I really should share. And I've decided to put together this 32-hour course, and it's going to be essentially 4 days. Each day is broken down by 4-hour sessions with a lunch in between. It's generally going to be running on a Saturday and a Sunday, 2 weekends in a row. You can sign up for the whole thing, or you can sign up for one class at a time. I do plan on scheduling additional classes throughout the year so that you can basically learn the program on your own at your own speed and on your own time. Every class that you sign up for includes a half-an-hour private consult with me. So if you sign up for all 4 classes for the entire 32-hour course, you get 2 hours of private consultation with me to be able to sit down and talk about your ideas and help you figure out this process along the way. So you always have access to me at some stage or another in the process. I'm basically going to help you figure out what your personal information assets are. And then I'm going to sit down with you and determine what you're passionate about. And then we're going to narrow down that list of personal information assets to the things that you're passionate about so that we can come to a final conclusion as to what information you have that you want to share. And if you're passionate about it, you will work on it. You will work on it night and day. You will have no problem talking about it when people ask you questions about it because you're passionate about it. And that's really what this is all about. This is all about helping you create a revenue stream and a new career for yourself that's independent of an employer, something that allows you to be self-sufficient and self-reliant and working on something that you really love. There are so many tools that are available to us today online that make things so much easier to share information. And I basically believe that right now we're in what I call an information rush. It's very similar to the gold rush. It's all about information, and everybody's got information to share. And it doesn't matter if there's already many people out there that are sharing a similar subject matter. You can too. It's anybody's game. And that's one of the things I share in the course as well. So if you followed me for a while, you know that I care about helping people create their best life. And I strongly encourage and I inspire people to venture out, get outside their comfort zones, work on something that gives them happiness and rewards them. They feel rewarded for the things that they invest their time and energy into. So this course, in a way, is your pathway to freedom so that you can live a life similar to the way Heather and I live, where we have options. What people don't realize is that freedom is the result of options. And when you back yourself into a corner, when you become dependent on an employer for your income, and you go out and leverage that paycheck that you get every 2 weeks with monthly payments on toys and on things, you become dependent on that employer. And frankly, that reduces your number of options. The more options you create for yourself, the more ability you have to choose the path that you want to go down. This results in the kind of freedom that most people are looking for that eludes them. And so Heather and I have come up with a lifestyle for ourselves that gives us what we really enjoy, which is primarily experiences rather than things. But we do have some things. And as most of you know that watch my channel, I'm always about the right tool for the job. So if I don't use it, I don't keep it. It's not something that I feel like I need to hold on to and drag along on my life path. So if you're interested in creating a life for yourself that is more free, that gives you options, and simply leverages the things that you already know, utilizing the knowledge that I have that I'm willing to give to you, you should definitely stop and take a look at Modern Self-Reliance, my 32-hour course. Now, this to me is an example of what I'm going to teach you. I have information in my head. These are my personal information assets. And I'm leveraging this information in multitudes of ways to create different revenue streams. Some of those revenue streams flow like rapids of a river. Other revenue streams only flow seasonally, like a creek in the forest that only runs every so often. But all of those revenue streams are necessary, and I help you create the various revenue streams and work toward bigger and bigger revenue streams that you can utilize to make money. So I help you take the information in your head, turn it into content, and then tell you how to leverage that content in a multitude of ways to make a living. So if you're interested in this course, definitely stop and take a look at Modern Self-Reliance. There's a link down below that's going to tell you more about it, and I'm more than happy to share that with you and share my knowledge. And I promise you that you'll walk away with information that you don't have now. And this is really a perfect experience for two people in a relationship who one maybe works and the other one's at home, or one works and the other one was just laid off. This is something you could apply one person in your household to learn and create a new stream of income. It could also be where someone has an expertise in something, let's just say plumbing, and they're out and they have a plumbing business and they're making money from plumbing, but along the way they are creating content. They're just not capturing it. So when they're out there doing their work, they could be capturing the things that they are doing and sharing their knowledge and then leveraging that information online to make money. And as I said, there's a lot of different ways to do that. With modern technologies and artificial intelligence, things that are kind of starting to unveil themselves, as the days go by and automations take shape, we are given an opportunity to even streamline this process even more, making things even easier. So if you're interested in this course, definitely take a look at it. I've got the first course coming up in April, and I believe that I'll be doing a course once a month thereafter. So if you want, you can sign up for a single class of the course. You can sign up for an entire weekend, which is two of the classes of the course, or you can sign up for both weekends, which is 4 classes, 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays. Now, if you sign up for all 4 classes, you get discounts because I like to reward people who invest in their futures. If you can only afford or you only have time for 1 class or 2 classes, don't worry, sign up for the 1 class or 2 classes. and know that in the next month, if you want, or if you have the time, you could sign up for the other 2 classes. So I try to create it as flexibly as possible so that you have the ability to decide how fast you learn. And as you go through this process, you'll start to understand things a lot more and be able to grasp the concept. And it really just comes down to how much time and energy you're willing to invest, if you're willing to be committed and dedicated to the model. And the rest is just really, it's really just up to you. Anybody's content, anything you know about could be leveraged online to make money. I don't care if it's, you had breast cancer and you overcame it. You could create an entire brand around that content and inspire people all over the world, and also use it to make a living if that's what you so choose. So there's really no limit as to what subject matter you could leverage online, and I help you figure out what those information assets are and which one to pursue. That's part of the program. So that is the one thing that I'm working on right now that I think is really exciting, and for me, it definitely aligns with my life path and my goals and my life mission, which is to inspire people utilizing my creativity and knowledge and expertise to live their best life. So outside of planning that program and working on Rove Ultra Expeditions, let's talk a little bit about what I'm envisioning for Mantle Rock Mountain Camp and Songbird Cabin. So as you know, Heather and I live a pretty free life, and I'm trying to figure out how to keep it that way, rather than saddling us with any new major debt or saddling us with some kind of obligation. I'm continuing to work on leveraging the information that I've already created. So one of the things I'm doing is talking with companies about syndicating the content I've already created. I've got over 150 videos on my channel, and those are shared on YouTube, but they're not really shared anywhere else. And so one of the revenue streams that I'm working on, for my content, is to syndicate the content across other streaming systems. And it's really important to share this with regard to the course that I'm putting together, because along the way in my learning, when I learn new ways to leverage my content to make additional revenue, new revenue streams, I add that to my course so that you learn that information a lot sooner than I did. And you don't have to go through the difficulty in trying to figure it out the way I have. I just share the information with you so that you have a streamlined process. So I'm working on syndicating my content. So for instance, I've got 25 episodes of the Pursuit of Cabin Living series. And I have the ability to make a few adjustments to that exported those exported videos to make them the kind of content that can be syndicated. And once that's done, I then work on selling that content to streaming channels or working with a company that does that for me. It's one of the things I'm working on. We do plan on going up to Songbird Cabin probably in May, and primarily we're going to be working on finishing the things we started on the cabin. So we will be putting out some more Pursuit of Cabin Living series episodes. For those of you who really loved watching that series, we will have more episodes coming up, and that will include working on finishing our stonework, trimming the inside of the cabin, installing a few things that aren't installed now, improving some processes or some systems that we have in the house that aren't really optimal, maybe building an outdoor fireplace, and quite possibly installing a weld, having a well drilled. Some of that stuff is still up in the air, but I should share with all of you that we're not 100% sure we're going to keep the cabin. Now, as you know, we don't have to sell it. The property is paid for, and it doesn't really cost us that much money, but we do have a lot of money tied up in it. And so we have to kind of come to terms with whether or not we're going to hold on to it, whether we go there or not, and just keep it as an asset and go there when we have the time, or if we might sell it and utilize that revenue, or utilize that cash asset to invest in other things. With Rove Ultra Expeditions, we do plan on traveling a lot more internationally, and that will take us around the world more often. So we're trying to decide whether or not we're going to create a life that's more centered on international travel, in which case we would share content, video content about that experience as well. So there's a lot going on in our lives, and we're very free flow, and we do have no problem giving up one thing to gain another. So experiences are our primary focus, and things are really not our primary focus. And as most of you know, I moved to the mountains of northern New Mexico and bought this property to build this cabin in the woods. It wasn't necessarily to be able to own this cabin. It was more so to create the experience of building with my own two hands a cabin and having that experience be something I could share with other people. Now, I do have the option to create more structures on the property and create it into a homestead that I had originally envisioned, but I also have the option of not doing that and just holding on to it and letting it be what it is. And then I also have the option of selling it and doing something else with the money. So if you can look at life and the freedoms that you create in life as options, I think you'll learn, or you'll come to understand why I'm creating this course series, because I want to help people figure out how to create options. I have options, and Heather has options, and because we have options, we have freedom and flexibility to choose what our experience is daily. And that's not something a lot of people have structured in their life, and I want to help you all do that. Anyhow, that's it for now. I really hope you take a look at the course. I hope you follow along for our future of Pursuit of Cabin Living series. And of course, when we do come back to creating 4XPEDITION adventurer videos, which we do intend to do, especially with regard to our Rove Ultra expeditions and those trips that we take around the world, we will be sharing all that content with you. So please stay tuned. I thank you for taking the time to listen in, and hope to talk to you again soon. Take care.